Hello everyone, happy Monday. Welcome to my Crafty Chit and slow stitching video. I feel like today I have so much crafty stuff to share with all of you. Um, let me have a seat here. I do have my cup of tea and I am ready. It happens to be, it's actually Friday, September 19th when I'm recording this. But it's 8:45 in the morning here in New Jersey. The sun is out. Yet my backyard is nice and shady. I'm looking out at my garden, sitting here at my craft desk, and it's just a beautiful morning. It's quiet, it's beautiful. So I do want to work on my bigger needle book in this video, but first I want to share with you just some things. So one of my subscribers, Sharon, she had mentioned that she wanted to see how I sew on yo-yos. And for me, I mean, I've done it differently. Like what I used to do was just stitch just in the middle, and that was it. Like I would just put a few stitches in there. Sometimes I would stitch a button on. But yeah, it was like super easy and fast, which is fine. But on this, like I do it differently now, and I don't know that you can see. Maybe this one's the best because you can see the light color thread. But all I do is little stitches, over the edge of the yo-yos to sew them down. And sometimes I'll select thread that really matches the yo-yo, like this one. You probably can't even see the thread. I can't get too close because it will get blurry, but you can just go like that on your device and it'll go in closer. This one I did in a dark green, and then this one in a light green. So that's how, I'm actually holding it upside down, that's how I sewed these yo-yos on, and that's how I've been doing it recently. So, and I still don't have anything to use this pouch for, so it's kind of sitting in my stash. Talking about things I don't have, I make things and I don't necessarily need them, so I'm starting to build a little stash up. But what I did actually yesterday, so I just felt like being in here and stitching. And so I had a couple long videos that I, wanted to listen to and that kind of thing. So I just came in here and I grabbed my fall bin of fabrics, which is right here. And I just started stitching. And I just kind of thought about things I've had in my stash for a while that I just want to use things. I need to start using like everything. So what I did was I made this quick little trifold needle book. And it was a lot of fun. I took this fabric right here and I started that on the front. Then I've had this is cut out from a larger piece at some point in time, and I've been wanting to use it, and I don't know. So I put it on here, and I know it covers a lot of the leaves and everything on the front, but I just was having fun and I like it. And then I had just this little piece of trim. I'm like, well, I'm just going to throw that on somewhere. And then on the back, I put 2 pieces of fabric and this pretty little embroidered piece, because I find it hard sometimes to use embroidered pieces like this, and I have a few, and I want to get them used. This is something else I've had for a little while, not too long, this piece. But I just cut it out. It almost fit perfectly. I did blanket stitch around the whole outside. I think I've got the blanket stitch down. I still can't start it properly, even after watching videos. So it's like I need somebody like sitting in front of me to tell me how to start the blanket stitch, because like the videos I'm watching, like I must do it, like a lot of them stitch to the left. I happen to do it to the right. So when they're talking and explaining how to start it, it makes no sense to me because it's backwards. So yeah, and then inside you can see, so these 3 vertical pieces, there's a little piece of batting underneath, so that's where the needles and pins would go. Yeah, so, and this is a flannel piece that I just purchased at Hobby Lobby, and I love it. I love it, I love it. The rest of these pieces, I think, are just old pieces. And what drove me to make this size and style was the piece of fabric. The base piece of fabric was something I've had in my stash and haven't used it in a while. Like I had, like, right? So I'm like, well, I'm going to use what I have. So I had this long piece of kind of like a muslin kind of fabric. And I'm like, well, how can I do this? And the first time I'm like, well, I could just fold it in half. And then I'm like, well, it's a little too long. So let me go ahead and make it a tri-fold. So it's just a cute little needle book that, well, now I can add that to my pile of things that I'm making. And then like this here, so this is kind of how I have another project in mind. So what I would like to do, this piece right here, I think is super pretty and will go really well with the fall colors. So, well, let me show you this. So this is another piece. This is a piece of batting. I have all these little pieces. This is a piece of batting that I want to use. So it was misshapen. So I shaped it up properly. So I'm going to make either like a little journal cover, probably a little journal cover out of this. And I thought, I mean, I didn't do this yet, so we'll kind of do it together. I wonder if I could make this. I could. Well, it's not quite big enough, but that's okay. You can always add lace. So if I did something like that for the cover and put lace here because the batting is longer, or I could cut the batting down. But yeah, something like this I could do. I could even put fabric under here just to, you know, it would be long, but just to finish that off. So then it would be like, well, do I leave it just like that? Or, excuse me, do I pull out, I'm looking at my yo-yos here, or do I pull out a yo-yo and put a yo-yo on here somewhere? You know, so yeah. So basically use what you have. But if I decided not to use this for this and use this on a bigger piece, that is fine too. But yeah, I have all these pieces here. Like here's 2 other pieces that I really, really, really like and I think are very autumnal. Like look at how gorgeous this piece is. Oh my gosh. See, this one I kind of feel like it would need a whole cover to itself. But like look at how pretty that will look. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I pulled out a bunch of these. So we'll see what happens with those. But this I think is going to be my next thing. So like what I do is, like I get them done in, I don't know, 2-3 hours. I just sit here and stitch, and just, yeah, and it's done. So that's kind of how I've been doing this. I also have this, which I can do some couching with. I thought would be pretty. Or I have this ruffled fabric I bought on Etsy years ago. I want to use that. So those are all ready to be used. These here, I made another purchase on the Whatnot app. And I actually got 2 of these. But look at the size. It's like so perfect to fold in half and kind of even make that a cover. I mean, it could be, let me grab this little thing here. It could be, this isn't going to be big enough, but you'll get the gist. Or, you know, you could even use something this size and put that around like that. Super pretty. I just think it's like such a fun size, even if it was used as a page inside of a journal. And again, the piece of fabric I'm using is too small, but just as an example, you know, to have this as a page inside of a journal and do something with the back of it. But I love this, and I love the size of it. So I want to use that soon. And also this. So I have 4 of these, I think. So these are tablecloths. Not tablecloths. What are they called? Yeah, you know. Well, actually, you know, I guess it could, a placemat is what I was thinking. It could either be a placemat or like a doily, right? But like, look at how pretty all the trimming is on here. And I was thinking, what if I somehow did this and say that was the size of a journal cover right there, right? And what if I like kept this as the spine, but cut open the top, and then I would have 4 pages that easily, right? If the top was cut, but I left the spine, then I would have 4 pages automatically, which is really 8 pages. And what a great way to make a quick little journal, right? So I'm thinking about that. And then before we get to the bigger needle book, so I forgot I made this. So there's going to be a video coming out, well, this week, maybe tomorrow. I forget the day I put on it, for me doing a quick tour of my craft room as it was. It was a mess. I have straightened it up since then, so my videos are out of order. But I found this. I totally forgot I even made this. I love this fabric. It is beautiful. There's batting inside, and this was me just kind of getting back into the feel of making a journal cover. And so, like, when you, one thing I've learned, when you have stripes, you better darn well be aware of that and make sure that you're sewing so that it looks straight. So, yeah. So anyway, so the only place on this that's not sewn is just down on the bottom here, a couple inches, so I have to do that. But it's beautiful, and I had these as possible pages for the inside. I have another piece of this. I have just a gray, brown. I have this, which is gorgeous. Gorgeous. This. So, yeah, so this is another wannabe project. So I have that. So that's kind of, I mean, and this is besides all of the projects I actually have. And you'll see those on the video that's coming, where I share my organization here in my craft room. Okay, so now let's go ahead and start working on the pages for my bigger needle book, and I want to show you the cover, how it ended up. But this is my little bin of the pieces I've pulled out to use on this particular project. It's just in some plastic, I'm sure it was from food bin, and it's just a great way for me to grab it and to use the items in here for this project. So that's the way I like to store things. As I was straightening up, I found this I thought was super pretty. Didn't know if I could pull that in. I also love this. This I've had hanging on my, I have like a divider wall here just for looks. It doesn't do it doesn't divide anything. But anyway, and I've had this hanging over it for years. And I'm like, gosh, whew, look at how gorgeous that is. Whether that's a page inside of a book, inside of a journal, or a journal cover. But I put it in with this stuff to see if I can use it for this bigger needle book. Then these are just extra pieces. I'm going to put those up to the side. Okay, so let's talk about this. Okay. Oh, I got my needle there. Okay, so this is how I finished the cover. So this is all sewn at this point. And yeah, so I put some rosettes up on top. I thought that that was super pretty. And all of these pieces are exactly the way that they were when I pinned them down in my video, my last Monday's video. So if you want to see how I got to this point, you can check out last Monday's video. But I did add this. This was new, the rosettes. And I think everything down here is the same, except I had a white piece of like a trim here, which is not there anymore. And I did add this. This is fabric. I did add that, as well as this little metal piece. So what that is, and I got these from in the clearance section at Hobby Lobby, and they are just the most adorable little things. And I wanted to add it there. It's yellow and it's very noticeable, but I love that it's noticeable. So the back is sewn, the back is left plain. Right now I see no need to do anything different with the back. And then the inside, which we also spoke about last Monday, so this is all sewn down. So I have lots of eyelet going on here. I have a trim going along the whole top. On the sides, both sides, I have this eyelet trim. And then in the whole middle, it was maybe a doily of some kind, or like a, yeah, I don't know what it was, but it fits perfectly. You know, here's the other trim on the other side. So I like that it's very, like, so, and the bottom, I just have this piece here. So this here, in fact, it goes all the way up, is all one piece. This right here, that's all one piece. Then there's the top and the two sides. So I'm loving the center of it. But now, oh, and I remembered I pulled out this thread that I got from, so like all the thrift stores are closing around me, which is a shame. But when the one was open up the street from me at a church, they would sell for like $2 or $3 whole kits, like embroidery kits, like whether it was crewel or cross stitch or whatever, for like $2 or $3. So you would get all the yarn or thread inside of the kit, plus even the piece of fabric that you would, you know, embroider on. And this was in one of those at one point, and it is amazing. So I would like to use that on here. But let's talk about the pages. So I have here what I want to do. So let's see. So bear with me. This all has to be cut down. Okay. So when you would open the journal, the very first thing you would see is this. But I'm sure that that would be cut down, because this right here is my base for the first signature. So there'll be just 2 signatures, just like I did in my small needle book. And I find that it's perfect. I don't need anything else. It's perfect. So this would go here. Now, I mean, I might have to put another piece of fabric or laces or whatever, but this would be here, cut down to size. This would all be cut down to the size of the base of the page. So that would be that. Then you would open it, and this piece of fabric, which I got at Hobby Lobby, would be the whole inside page right here. So one page, right? Then, I haven't cut that yet either. Then on the back of this page, I would put this. So this is something I have had for years, and so it's something where I'd have to have a backing on, and you know, maybe I would, now that I'm talking about it, maybe I would just use this fabric. Maybe I would put that over this whole page, front and back, first. Maybe that's what I would do. And as I'm talking about it, I like that idea a lot. And then I would cut this down to size. And then the next signature would be bigger. So this signature is like a little bit more than 6.5 inches. This one is like 9 inches. So there's a big difference, like almost 3-inch difference between the 2 signatures. I said, no, see, I can't do that though, right? Because I have to cut this down. So they will be the same. You know why? As I'm talking about this, because I can't have this sticking out. So, right? So I'm going to have to cut this down to this size. So they will both be about 6.5 inches long, tall, whatever. But if you look at this fabric, the sun's starting to come in my window. If you look at this fabric, see, there's just slight little blue, and I thought that these 2 pieces next to one another were beautiful. So then we would open, and this is just the page. So I had this, I thought that would be pretty there. And then I have this. What I was going to do was this. So I would use this whole piece, and then on the side over here, I would take a piece of this and do that. So that would be the inside, one page. And then the back, I have another piece of this chenille, and that would be on the back. So those would be my pages. So I have to cut things down. So let's do a little bit of that together. Let me move all of this thread out of the way, and let's start cutting a little bit. So again, this size of this signature is even a little short. So the next signature, well, that's not too short. I think that that's perfect. So the size of this is what I'm going to cut the other one down to. And I'm going to do it at 6.5 inches. But for now, let me move this to the side. Let's just work on this. Okay, so I know I have to cut this down, right? And I'm going to cut it. See, so I want, see this fraying right here on the edge? I would like for that to show. So I'm going to cut this. Well, I'm going to cut it here. And so then that's good. So this piece of fabric, I am going to put this on both sides. So let's cut, I'll have to iron this. Let's cut this fabric as well. So let me, do I want to leave this on the edge here? Sure, why not? Why not? Is there a right side up and down? I kind of feel like there is a little bit, so let's go this way. Yeah, I kind of like that salvage edge on there. Okay, so now we're going to tear. I'll have to iron this. We're going to tear this. Like that. And then I need another piece for the other side. So let's just kind of do that. All right, so we have that. And I'm so glad to find this piece of fabric at Hobby Lobby in the clearance section. So it feels good to use a bunch of it. So I only have a little piece left. So that will go into my stash. All right, so this is going to be here. So that's my inside. So then the outside is going to have this on it. Then this will go here. I can see I need to straighten this up. Okay, so that will go there. Then there's the inside, and there will be batting. We'll talk about the batting in a second. So then that's the inside, and then on the back, let's cut this. I could do it either way. I think I like it this way, although I think it's supposed to be that way. Sorry, that sun's coming in. Well, I don't have to decide that right now. It's going to be the same length no matter what. So I'm just going to kind of do this. This could make a cute little pocket. Maybe I'll do that. You know, I'm just going to pin that on there so I don't forget. And this is very heavy. This is, you know, upholstery fabric. But so that would go there. I'll hold it up so you can see if the sun is in the way. I should really get blinds or something. I used to have blinds for here. Okay, so that is one signature. So it would go like this, and like this. Okay, what I do need on every page, like so this page, Or you know what else I could use this for? I could put a piece of batting under this, and that could be where the needles go. Maybe I'll do that. I think I like that idea better. Because every page, I just have to make sure that there's a good place to put needles and pins, right? So like this center page will have, well, there's going to be batting underneath, but I kind of feel like I need something here specifically to put the needles and pins in. So I'll worry about that. We'll talk about that next time. So that's the one. Okay, so now let's take this, and the first thing we have to do is to cut this down to size. All right, whoops, I got threads everywhere. Okay, that's the back. So this is a big piece. So let me measure. And we're going to go ahead and tear this. Yeah, I did want it the same size. Okay. And so if I fold this over, well, this is a little out of whack right here. Let me cut that. Gosh, can you see the threads? The threads are everywhere. Okay, so if I do that, is that a good size? So I'm gonna compare it. Yep, and yep. So it's a little narrower than this one, but that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Okay, so this is gonna be our base for the second signature. And once I get all this cut down, I think that will be it for this video, because then I'll come on next Monday and we'll work on it more. So now I'm wondering if I should put a piece of fabric over this whole thing like I did with this, and I'm kind of leaning towards yes. I could even probably, I don't know if I could use the same fabric, but I definitely have this fabric. So maybe I'll use this to cover this. I just have to make sure I do it straight. Well, let me see how much of this I have. I don't think, do I have enough of this? I kind of like the idea of using the same. Oh yeah, I do have enough. All right, I'm going to use this fabric for both pages just to cover it up. So let's go ahead and cut this. So that would go there. It does seem to be slightly because this one is a little shorter. I'm gonna have to trim that, but that's okay. So then on this side, oh wow, look at this. I've used almost the whole thing. I'm gonna leave this salvage end again. And oh my gosh, it is like an inch of this fabric that I'm not using. Just an inch. I've used the whole thing. How awesome is that? That's all I have left. Okay. So that's going to go there. I have to iron that out. Okay. So, let me get some of these threads out of here. As much as I like threads, this is a little too much. Okay, so then what will happen here is this piece will go here. So the front of this is going to look like the front of this. Then we'll open it up. And in here, oh, no, 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 no. This is actually the back. This has to go here because this was going to match that. So I want to keep that yellow flower. So that's like probably the most colorful thing in here is that flower. Oh. Is this gonna tear? No, 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 it's refusing to tear. This is thick like a upholstery fabric, so it's not tearing for me. I'll have to fray that, but this was gonna go here. That's right, that goes there. And then on the inside, so what I was going to do was put this whole piece, but maybe what I'll do, I wonder if I'll just kind of, maybe I'll do that and I won't use this at all. So I'm going to put that to the side because now that I have this other fabric in here, I kind of like this. All right, so I'm going to kind of keep this in the middle. Okay. So that's going to go like that. I like that. This will all be ironed. I like that. Let me put a pin in this. Just so I remember. So again, I'm going to have, so say I even took this and I sewed it here. That would be a place to put the pins and the needles on this page. And you know what? And maybe that's exactly what I'll do. So what I'll do is, do I have a piece here? Let me see. I have little pieces of batting. Now, it would have to be bigger than this, but I just happen to have this on my desk. So I would put a little piece of batting there and that there, so that would make a nice place to put the pins and the needles. And then, oh, you know what? I can't have that there. Let me move that. Let me move that. Oh, and everybody, remember, this coming Saturday, the 27th, is the open collaboration with everybody. Anybody that wants to join in can, whether you stitch or whether you do paper, crafting or painting or drawing or whatever. It's about making a tag. Everybody is welcome to join in. And yeah, I'll put the video announcing it in my description box. So that's going to go there. Okay, sorry about the sun. All right, so this is it. So we have the pages ready. Well, they're not quite ready. I said I would mention about the batting. So what I'm thinking, so see, like when I made this little needle book, I have batting in the pages. That's one, and this is the other one. It makes it a little chunky when you go to stitch the signatures into the journal because it's all one piece. I have a whole piece of batting, but what I'm thinking of doing this time is to put a piece of batting on each side. So there would be a piece of batting here, a piece of batting here, with no batting in the very center, so that it's easier. There's a lot less going on when it comes time for me to sew this in. So I think that's what I'm going to do for batting. But that's it. So, okay. So that's where we're at. That's what it's going to look like. It'll be a little chunkier because there'll be some batting in there. But look at how pretty. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Super nice. Super nice. And again, this is all inspired by Corinne. So I will put the link to her video. She did this neutral needle book that I just had to do it. So yeah, yep. So this is my version of what I saw her do. So that is it for this Crafty Chit Chat and Slow Stitching video. We talked about a whole bunch of different things today. I will be back next Monday. But yeah, watch for my videos throughout the week. Every Thursday I do my Roxy Journal of Stitchery video. So it's Thursday. Every Monday I do this video. And then in between I just share all kinds of stuff. But watch this week for a quick little tour of my craft space. I'm going to call it uncensored because I did not clean it up before I did the video. So, and that's what I wanted to do. But it is straightened up now, so it looks better. For now, for this second. Okay, thank you so much for being here. Let me know if you have any questions and have a wonderfully blessed week. All right, bye-bye, everybody.